Hi, hello, good morning. Welcome to Java Programming Lecture Series, lecture number 11. I am Dr. E. Raju from Genius Mind Computer Academy. So in today's lecture, we'll discuss about iterative statements. We started in previous lectures discussing about control statements. We said that control statements are three types: selection statements, iterative statements, and jump statements. So in previous videos, we finished selection statements. Okay, so in today's lecture, we'll talk about iterative statements. Let's get started. So the contents for today's lecture includes different iterative statements in Java. We'll discuss, we'll list the different statements for performing iterations in Java. Then exclusively, we talk about while statements, its general form, syntax, everything we'll discuss. Then example using while statement, an example program we'll discuss in this lecture, and some programming practice for you. And there is a special section to make your hands dirty with coding. Okay, some of the questions where you will get hands-on practice and this while statement, and the important section is food for brain, and you will have questions for brainstorming, right? So let's get started. Iterative statements. Okay, so these iterative statements are used to perform iterations or repetitions. That means when we want to execute a set of statements repeatedly, okay, so then we use these iterative statements. And Java iterative statements are three types. One is for statement, while statement, and do while statement. We can also call these iterative statements as loop statements, or in short, loops we can call them as. So a loop repeatedly executes the same set of instructions until a termination condition is met. That means as long as the condition is true, okay, so it executes the same set of instructions. Once the condition becomes false, then it stops a repeated execution. Okay, so that's how we can perform repeated execution by using these loop statements. So the first kind of loop we'll discuss in today's lecture is while loop. So the while loop is Java's most fundamental loop. The basic loop is this while loop. So it repeats a statement or block of statements while its controlling expression is true. Okay, so there will be a controlling expression whether to repeat the loop or not. Okay, so that expression, if it is true, it repeatedly executes a single or a block of statements. Now we look into the general form of while loop. It begins with the keyword while. So this while should be written in a lower case, then followed by within the parenthesis, we give the condition. And if this condition is true, then we include the statements to be executed inside the body of the loop here. Okay, so this body of the loop begins with open curly brace and ends with a closing curly brace here. And one or more statements can be written inside this body of the loop. Now, how this while statement is executed and what is written in place of a condition. Okay, so the condition can be any Boolean expression. That means we write any expression here. Ultimately, the value of that expression should be a Boolean value, either true or a false. Okay, so if it is true, then it executes body of the loop. As long as the condition is true, it executes body of the loop. Once the condition is false, then it comes out from the loop and goes to the next statement following this while statement. Okay, so that's how repeatedly it executes this body of the loop. Okay, now just you can see here the body of the loop will be executed as long as the conditional expression is true. So as long as this condition is true, it repeatedly executes this body of the loop. When the condition becomes false, the control passes to the next line of the code immediately following this loop. Now see here, this while loop ends here. This closing brace indicates that this is the end of this while loop. So after this while closing brace, if there are any statement, and the control directly jumps to that statement if this condition is false. That's how it stops executing this body of the loop repeatedly. Now, see here, we have given open curly brace and closing curly brace. The curly braces are unnecessary, no need. Okay, so if only a single statement is being repeated, that means like in if we discussed this, okay, if there is only one statement to be executed repeatedly, then no need of including this open curly brace and closing curly brace. By default, the JVM understands that the next statement belongs to this while loop. Okay, so that's why it executes the next statement. But when there are more than one statement to be executed, repeatedly you want to execute. Okay, so then you must include them inside this open and closing curly brace. So this is important when we are writing a while loop in our program, right? Now, let us see an example where we can use this while loop in our Java program. Okay, so I have declared a class called while. Please see here, the class name while begins with capital W. Okay, if you give small w here, then you will get error because while is a keyword. Keywords you cannot use as variable names, class names, or method names. Okay, but here this w is a capital name, that's why you won't get any problem here. Okay, so I have defined a class called while. Inside this, I am defining a main method here. So in this main, I have a variable n with value 5. Okay, so then now see, while n greater than 0, while n greater than 0. Okay, so first it checks this condition here. Okay, so first the condition is checked here. Okay, so what is n value? N value is 5 here. Okay, so 5 greater than 0. Yes, true. Okay, so then it enters this loop. See here, the loop begins here with open curly brace and ends here with the closing curly brace. Okay, so this is the body of the loop. So these statements are executed first time when it is entering into this loop. Okay, because 5 greater than 0 is true here. So then it enters. Then system.out.println n is equals to plus n value it prints. So what is n value here? What is n value here? Just wait. Right. Okay. So this is the memory allocated for n. Okay. So n value is 5 now. So then it prints system.out.println. So you will get n is equals to 5. Okay. So then afterwards it is decrementing n value, n minus minus. Okay. So now n value becomes a 4 here. Okay. Now end of the loop reached here. So what happens automatically once loop ends here? The control automatically goes back to this condition part. Okay, so it comes here. The control comes here. Okay, so once again, the same statements are repeated here. Okay, so the condition is once again checked here. Now n greater than 0. What is current value of n? 4. So 4 greater than 0, true. Okay, so since the condition is true here, so again it enters this body of the loop. Again it enters body of the loop. Okay, so then again once more this system.out.println is executed. Now n is equals to, then you will see n is equals to, and n, what is current value of n? 4. Then 4 will be printed here. Okay, so then next statement is n minus minus. N value will be decremented, n value will become 3 now. So end of the loop reached here. So again, control goes back to condition part. Okay, so when you write while, the compiler understands, okay, or the JVM understands to repeat this as long as the condition is a false. So that's why when it reaches end of the loop, automatically the control goes to condition part here. Okay, again checks the condition, n greater than 0. What is n value? Current value you have to look into always. Okay, so the current value of n is 3 now. So 3 greater than 0, yes, true. 3 greater than 0, true. So again enters the body of the loop. So again it enters body of the loop. So this println method is executed. Then on the screen you can see n is equals to, then plus n. What is n value? N value is printed here, 3. So n is equal to 3 printed on the screen. Okay, so then goes to the next statement, n minus minus. Okay, so n value is decremented, n value becomes a 2 now. N value becomes 2. So end of the loop reached here. So control automatically goes to condition part here. So checks the condition again. 2 greater than 0. 2 greater than 0. Yes, true. So since it is true, okay, so again enters the body of the loop. So again println method is executed. Then on the screen you can see n is equal to, see this is the message in double quotes. So this will be printed as it is, n is equal to, then plus n. When you give variable name here, the value in the variable will be printed. Current value is 2. So this 2 will be printed here. Okay. So then say n minus minus. So n value is decremented. N value becomes now 1. So end of the loop reached here. So again, control goes back to condition. So 1 greater than 0, checks the condition again. 1 greater than 0, yes, true. So since it is true, again enters the body of the loop. Okay. So one more time, println method is executed. Then on the screen, you can see n is equals to plus n. What is n value now? 1. So 1 is printed. Then n minus minus. Okay. So n value now becomes a 0. N value now becomes a 0. End of the loop reached here. Again goes back to the condition. This time checks the condition. N greater than 0. What is n value? 0. 0 greater than 0? No. This time it is false. This time it is false. Okay. So when the condition is false, the control directly comes out from the loop. Okay. So that means this is the place after the loop. Okay. So when this is false, condition is false, directly control from here jumps to this. There are no statements here, then your method ends, your class ends. That means your program terminates. So on the screen, you can see this is the output displayed. So what we are doing in this program, we are trying to print values from 5 to 1. We are trying to print the values from 5 to 1. Repeatedly, you want to print 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. So since there is a repeated action, printing action, that's why we use a while statement or a while loop here. Okay. So this while loop repeats for 5 times and prints n value. Each time we are decrementing n value. So then n value it prints n is equal to 5, n is equal to 4, n is equal to 3, n is equal to 2, and n is equal to 1. Okay. So once n value becomes 0, then the condition becomes a false here. Okay. So then it comes out from the loop. Then your program ends. This is how we can perform repeated execution of a set of statements by using this while loop here. Okay. So just you write the statement while and condition and check that how many times you want to execute the body of the loop. Based on that, you form the condition here. Okay. So if you don't form the condition properly, there is a danger of going into infinite loop. This loop may turn into infinite loop and never ending. Your program never ends. That is the problem, danger with a while statement if the condition is not properly designed. Okay, right? So you can modify this program. Here what I am doing, I am printing n values from 5 to 1. Okay, so just you modify the same program to print n values from 1 to 5. Say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like this. I want to print the numbers. Okay, so how do you modify this program? You do that and share the code in comment section. Only these numbers. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers should be printed. Okay, so share your code in the comment section. Let me see how do you modify the code and how this output is printed with that code. Okay, right. So this is the output as we discussed. N is equal to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 will be printed on the screen. Now some important points to remember whenever we use these control statements. Okay, so regarding while statement, while loop evaluates its condition at the top of the loop. Okay, so that means at the beginning of the loop, it is checking the condition. That's why it is called as a entry controlled loop. Entry controlled loop. That means whether the loop has to be entered or not, that is decided at the entry itself. See here. Okay, so whether to enter this body of the loop or not. Okay, so you are deciding in the entry. See, this is the body of the loop. Okay, so this is the entry into the body of the loop. So you are deciding at the entry level itself. So that's why this while is called a entry controlled loop. Entry controlled loop. The body of the loop will not execute even once if the condition is false at the first instance. Okay, so that means first time if the condition is false, then the body of the loop is not executed. Body of the loop is not executed. Okay, like say for example, I have given n is equal to 5. Okay, so n greater than 50 if I say. Otherwise, if I use 10 here, for example. So what happens here? 5 greater than 10, false. First time the loop became false, condition became false. So that's why this body of the loop is not executed. Body of the loop is not executed, then directly control comes here. Nothing is performed from your program. Okay, so this is the condition to be designed very carefully. Okay, so in the first instance, if the condition is false, then no action will be performed. That means the body of the loop is not executed at all. This you should remember. Example, see here. Say A is equal to 10, I have given, B equal to 20. Two variables I have declared here. Okay. Now two variables I have declared here. So while A greater than B, we are asking to print. We are asking to print some message. Now what happens here? A value is 10. It checks 10 greater than 20. No, false. So since the condition is false, then it won't go to this println method. That means this println is never executed. So that is the problem if you design the condition improperly. Okay, so whenever you are using a loop, you should design the condition so that the body of the loop is repeatedly executed for some specific number of times. How many times? It depends on your problem. Right? So these are some of the codes or programming exercises to make your hands dirty with coding. Okay, so before this, let us write one more example program where we can use this while statement. Okay, so I'll show you a example program here. Just let us go back to our Java programs. Java programs. Okay, so here what we do is we'll write a program using a while statement. Okay, so here what I do is we'll write a program for a sum of n numbers. Like, okay, so say for example, one plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5, sum of n natural numbers. First n natural numbers we will find out. Okay, so if n value, if I give as a 5, then it should calculate 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5, this is nothing but 15 it should print. Okay, so if n value, if I enter as a 10, okay, so then it should print some value as sum of natural numbers is equal to 55, it should print like this. Okay, n value 100, some value 1 to plus 2 plus 3 plus up to 100 it should calculate, and it should print the sum value. Sum is equal to something, it should print here. Okay, so how do we do this? Sum of our first n natural numbers we want to find out. So here the logic to be developed, you need to think of the how we can implement this logic here. Okay, so what you can do is you take a variable sum here, take a variable sum which should contain sum of n natural numbers, and initially we store 0 here. Okay, so then you take a number I with the initial, because natural numbers begins with 1. Once you know 1, you can generate the next natural number, next natural number, next natural number by incrementing this. Yes or no? Okay, so that's why the first number you have to store in a I is equal to 1. Now you have one first natural number, then immediately you add it to sum, you add it to sum. Okay, so sum will become now 1. Then you generate the next natural number. How you generate? If you say I plus plus, then you will get the next natural number. Okay, so then immediately you add it, immediately you add this to sum. Okay, so add it to sum. What happens? 1 plus 2 will be performed. So again increment the I value, then add it to sum. 1 plus 3 will be performed. Again increment I value, add it to sum. 1 plus 4 will be performed. Again increment and add it to sum. 1 plus 5 will be performed. Again increment. Then you can stop here because you want only up to 1 to 5 numbers you want. First 5 numbers sum you want. Okay, so when you print this, then it prints this sum. Okay, so this total 1 plus 2 plus 3 is stored here every time. Okay, so then it prints the sum value as a 15. 15 will be printed like this. Okay, so this is the repeated operation to be performed. Okay, incrementing the I value and adding to sum, incrementing the I value and adding to sum, incrementing I value and adding to sum. Okay, so repeatedly you have to perform this operation as long as you reach your required natural numbers. Once you reach that, you can stop execution here and you can print the value present in the variable sum. This is the logic we need to implement, and let us write the code for this. Okay, so first thinking of the logic, then converting this logic into programming statements. That is very, very important. Okay, so now let us write the code here. So I'm writing the comment here, program to print sum of first n natural numbers. Okay, so n natural numbers. Right, so here I'll define the class name as sum of natural numbers. Okay, so inside the main you declare the variables here. Okay, so n value we need to read from the keyboard, yes or no? Okay, so we should ask the user how many numbers sum he wants. So that's why we create. So since we are using a scanner here, so we need to import the scanner class. So import java.util.scanner. Okay, so first create the object for scanner class. Say scanner sc is equals to new scanner and pass system.in as parameter to this system.in. Okay, right? So I said here, just let me remove this code. So I said the first natural number you should store in some variable, yes or no? So int I is equals to 1, and we should declare one more variable sum. You should store sum in a variable called as sum and initialize it to 0. Whenever you have a variable sum, blindly you initialize it to 0. Okay, right. Now, what we need to do, you have the first natural number, so you add it to sum. Now see here. So you add it to sum. How you can add it to sum? That means sum plus I. You can say sum plus I. If you say, that means this I, the first natural number will be added to sum. Okay. And the result, again, you store back in a sum. Again, you store back in a sum. Okay. So now you can write a statement like this. Sum is equal to sum plus I. Okay. So first natural number we added to sum. Okay. Right. So initially sum was 0, then 0 plus 1 we performed here. Yes or no? So it is nothing but 0 plus 1 it has performed. Now you generate the next natural number. How you can generate the next natural number? By incrementing it. I plus plus you can say. You can say I plus plus. Yes or no? Okay. So when you say I plus plus, you will get the next natural number. So what you have to do? Again, you have to go back and add it to sum. See here, the previous statement has to be executed again. So it has to be executed again means you have to go back. That indicates that you need to include these two inside the loop. Okay. So that means you close this and include this inside the loop here. Okay. So you begin the loop somewhere here, and here you write the loop statement. Okay, so we are discussing about a while loop. Now you use while loop here, and while. Okay, so here now see here while. Now this is the loop. So when this end of the loop reaches, automatically goes here and test the condition. Okay, so condition is assumed true here. Okay, so then sum is equal to sum plus I. That means the next value will be added here, plus 2. Okay, so I plus plus, I value becomes 3. End of the loop reaches, again goes back, test the condition. Assume the condition is true here. Okay, so then I value becomes a 3, plus 3 will be added here. Okay, so like this, it has to repeat. How long? Until I value becomes equal to n. Okay, so we are asking the user to enter. Here we should ask the user, no? Right? So first we ask the user here, system dot out dot println. Now give a message to the user, enter n value. Okay, so user enters n value. Okay, sum of first n natural numbers, no, n value is entering. Now you read that into the variable called as a n is equals to sc dot next int method we should call. Okay, so if user enters 5, then first 5 natural numbers we should calculate here. Okay, so that means how the condition is framed here, until I value becomes equal to, that means I less than or equal to n. As long as I is less than or equal to n, you go on adding the I value to sum. This is what we are informing the compiler. Okay, now see here, 1 plus 2 plus 3. I value is 3. 3 is added to this. Then I plus plus. Okay, so I value here becomes 4. End of the loop reaches here. Now see here, checks the condition. If you write condition like this, it becomes true always. So 4 less than or equal to 5. Yes, true. So again enters the loop. Sum is equal to sum plus I. Okay, so that means to this sum already 4 is added here. Okay, so I value is 4. No, that 4 is also added. I am not writing the result. Every time it adds and stores the result. Okay, I'm just writing the equation here. Then I plus plus, I will become 5 here. Then end of the loop reaches 5 less than or equal to 5. Yes, then enters the loop, and 5 is also added here. Okay, then I plus plus, now you can see here I value here now becomes a 6 here. Okay, so end of the loop reaches, now goes back to the condition. Now understand how the condition becomes false here. So 6 less than 5, 6 less than 5 false. Then that control directly comes here out of the loop. This is end of the loop. No, control comes here. Okay, so once you end the loop here, that indicates that you have calculated sum of first 5 natural numbers. Where you are storing? In the variable sum. Now you print this sum, then that indicates sum of first n natural number. So after the loop, I am just printing system dot out dot println write the message here. So sum of first n natural numbers. Okay, so n value it has to print here, no? Say just plus n, then say plus, and here natural numbers is equals to, okay, so then say close plus, and where is the sum? Then you can say sum, variable name sum here. Okay, so that's it. Then this is end of the main method and end of the class. Okay, so then it prints sum of first n value. If you give 5, first 5 natural numbers is equal to 15, it prints. If you enter n value 10, then it prints sum of 10 natural, first 10 natural numbers is equal to 55. That's how the message is printed onto the screen. Okay, so let me save this program. Save as. Is our sum of natural numbers. Say sum of natural numbers dot Java. Okay, so then all files, then save. Okay, so let us open our command prompt. Right, so go back to E drive. Okay, change your directory to Java programs. Okay, now compile here. Java C sum of natural numbers dot Java. Okay, your program is being compiled here. Yeah, so there are some yeah, util dot, so L I skipped there, Java dot util dot scanner. Okay, right, so let us save the program again. You run your code, compile your code. Now this time it is okay. Okay, right, so now again run the code here. Now let us see whether it prints the correct value or not. So enter n value 5. I enter. Now sum of first 5 natural numbers is equal to 15. It has printed. Okay, so how you want to print the message, output message? Okay, so accordingly you should write in the last println method. Okay, right. Next time, say for example, if I run 10, if I enter, then 55 it prints. Okay, similarly, if I enter say 50, see 1275 prints. Okay, so similarly, if I enter sum of first 100 natural numbers, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus up to 100. Okay, so then it prints 50 50. Okay, you can manually calculate n into n minus 1 by 2 by using that formula, n minus 1 or n plus 1 by 2. See first 5 natural numbers, no? So 5 into 4 by 2. 5 into 4, n plus 1, 6 means okay. N into n plus 1 by 2. It is n into n plus 1 by 2. You can manually calculate and check your answer here. Okay. So this is how we can use while statement to perform repeated execution of a set of statements here. Okay. And directly these statements you cannot come to know. When you develop the logic, then only you will come to know how these statements are written inside the loop here. Okay, so here sum is equal to sum plus I. You can use shorthand operator here. Okay, so instead of this, you can say sum plus is equals to I. This is efficient way of writing the code. Okay, so somewhat efficient code compared to previous one. right? So pause this video. If you still having doubt in this, pause the video and check the logic. Okay, so this is the logic we developed here. Okay, so this logic you write down on paper and work out on paper whether it works or not, then convert that logic into program like this. Okay, so then execute your program. If your program works fine, then it's well and good. So next we'll go back to the important two sections, hands and practice. Okay, yeah, make your hands dirty with coding. Now just see here, what are the programs you need to practice to print a multiplication table of a given number. For example, given number is 5, then your program should print like this: 5 star 1 is equal to 5, 5 star 2 is equal to 10, 5 star 10 is equal to 50. That means fifth table it has to print on the output. Okay, then second program is write a program to check whether the given number is Armstrong number or not. Okay, so how Armstrong number is defined? Sum of cubes of individual digits are equal to the same number, or equal to the same number. That means 153. If you find sum of cubes of each digit, again you will get 153 only. You will get 153 only. Such numbers are called as a Armstrong number. So 5 cube is 125. 125 plus 1. 125 plus 1 is 126 plus this is 27. 126 plus 27 is 153. So you are getting the same number again. So such numbers are called as Armstrong numbers. Okay, so write a program for this. These are practice programs. Okay, right. Next brainstorming section here. Okay, food for brain question. Here is the question for you. What is the output of this program? I, j, k values are given and condition is given here. Okay, so there are some expressions given inside the loop. Okay, so execute these expressions and finally, after coming out from the loop, printing I, j, k values. Okay, so what are the values of I, j, k after the loop? Okay, so A, B, C, D. Send your answer in the comment section. And friends, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, do subscribe to my channel. And if you like this lecture, please like the video and share the video with your friends. Thank you. Have a great day.